that ends up being the case. I feel it will. Again, having Undying, you kind of need to do something within the lane.
Okay, and what with the teams being picked up? I mean, the Drow Ranger as well, the fact that we're talking about the Shadow Fiend versus DK matchup in the mid lane, having a Drow Ranger on your side should allow no one to have a very good time against DK.
Yeah, I feel the Drow pick was probably the best possible thing that you could do. You could also pick something like Weaver. Like, Weaver is great because he's a core who can't really die in the tri-lane, but the Drow just gives you so much of a laning advantage over what London Conspiracy have right now. So, London Conspiracy, their tri-lane is the make or break. If the lane is successful, I think their game will go well. If it's not, I think Vega are going to be in a fantastic position.
Indeed, and here we go. So into the second game of this two-game series here, the final series in the group stage of the EU qualifiers. London Conspiracy need to win to make this series a draw if they want to hold themselves in. If this goes 2-0 to Vega, Vega will proceed, and London Conspiracy will be going back home. But lineup-wise, I mean, obviously in the first game, you felt the London Conspiracy's draft was pretty strong. Do you feel that their draft this game is a little bit safer in terms of there's kind of room for error?
London Conspiracy?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's not safe at all.
It's not safe at all.
Just because of their lanes. They have to go aggro with these heroes, and if that lane loses, it's already so much of their lineup down the drain. Now, some lineups are having a situation where you just have good mid-game, so you don't have to really win your lanes. I think London Conspiracy absolutely need to win their lanes. And against the Drow lineup, I think it's going to be harder for them to win their lanes. Now, again, anything can happen in Dota, so perhaps London Conspiracy's tri-lane does amazing, right? Like maybe they get a couple of kills and they snowball. If that happens, Vega are going to be in some trouble, but already 224 getting caught out in the top lane. This could potentially just be first blood before the buzzer even goes off.
Certainly looks like it.
That's not the way to start the tri-lane, not at all.
First blood.
Okay, so Vega, they're going to be very happy with that.
Yep, Sima just gets free boots.
Very
or no, he
happy
even already had boots. So he's going to get the free sentries if he needs them.
Right. I mean, it's obviously the lane styling like that. Do you have to keep going aggressive? Do you have to stick to your guns, London Conspiracy? I mean, is there a point where you feel like, okay, we've got to stop this, we've got to take people out of this lane, turn it into a dual lane? Or?
If you go passive,
yeah,
and then you go back to your safe lane and you let your Viper farm, it's not the end of the game, but I think you would have to at least leave another hero up top and then put Skylark there with maybe the Undying or maybe the Rubik, because then you're going to have to fall back on trying to get more experience out of your lanes.
And looking at the other lanes so far, I mean, so the Shadow Fiend versus DK, we're saying we expect to see Shadow Fiend have a slight edge. The Mag Beastmaster against Skylark on this Darkseer, it's obviously not the most favourable lane for Mag, but he should still be able to find a bit from this.
It's a nuisance. I mean, the Skylark's going to have a pretty easy time, but as long as Mag doesn't die 1v1, I think it'll be okay. I'm kind of wondering, middle lane, it's not so bad right now for the DK. He's actually still leading the Shadow Fiend. As time goes on, of course, that will change. And no one is getting pushed in pretty heavily, so he's going to have to probably use Raze to CS into the tower. But at the moment, London Conspiracy doing a decent job of zoning out the Drow. I think if maybe they hadn't given up the first blood, it would have been at least a contested lane fully from London Conspiracy. But again, I think the next kill is going to be more important than anything else.
Indeed, they're coming in inside London Conspiracy, trying to disrupt this block here, just checking it out. Madara getting on the front line, seeing if he can steal some of this CS from Sima the Slayer. And
that sentry is like 2 feet out of range.
It is indeed. Oh, wow. That's, yeah, a little bit unfortunate there for the side of Vega in terms of dewarding. Solo taking a fair few hits there. Does have to back himself away from that. Bottom lane still Skylark, having a grand old time. 9 for 1 here. 7 for 2 though, on Mag on his Beastmaster. He's still being able to find a fair bit against the Darkseer. And mid lane, no one trying to do his best to zone DK out, but Kaiser, he's doing okay as well, pretty much keeping toe-to-toe with the Shadow Fiend. So across the map, things looking fairly even, but obviously just with that favourable start for Vega with that first blood against the aggressive Trimer.
Middle lane is going not really as well for no one as I thought. Typically having the extra 5 or 6 base damage at the start of the game just lets you snowball on Shadow Fiend, because having 38 base damage with no stats is pretty abysmal. But if you bring it up to 44, it's not so bad, and then you have a Wraith Fan plus an additional 2 Iron Branches, and that's 11 more damage. So I'm a little bit happy for Kaiser that he's able to get this out of his lane, because his team is going to need him to do well. This tri-lane, though, is still doing okay. I mean, the Viper right now is 6-2, the Drow's 9-1. Not a gigantic difference either way. But you can tell that Vega are respecting the power of London Conspiracy's tri-lane. They realize the kill potential of it, and they know that dying can be really bad for them. Nice Gus there.
Very nice indeed. S224 was looking for that telekinesis. Is still going to follow through with the telekinesis. Can the side of Vega do anything in response? This the Thunderstrike is on to S224, and I think they might kill this Rubik here. Oh no, he lives on 16 HP. Madara trying to do what he can with the poison attacks onto Disruptor. No one will die here for the time being, and Team Rubik very lucky to get himself away there. Does have to go all the way back to base though.
That ward actually saved his life, because had Seema been around and they went on Pasha there, it would have definitely been another kill. And that's, again, the problem with Rubik, is even though the Gust was timed very well from Pasha, he got his lift off, and then he has no other damaging abilities whatsoever. So unlike a lot of other support heroes, his stun does not do any DPS. And that is the biggest issue with sending him in this aggressive position. Now, having two really strong heroes to support him, like the Undying and the Viper, is great. But this lineup is going to be very underleveled, I feel.
Well, let's see in mid lane now. No one starting to create a little bit of a lead against the DK as expected in terms of CS. Back to the top lane, Rubik, S224. Ready to see if they can go for round 2. Madara getting the punches in onto 9 Pasha, but the field will be dropped. There's going to be a tombstone coming out from Spartan. Getting the case out to 9 Pasha. He'll throw back a very nice Gust again, ensuring that the Rubik can't get in close and personal for that telekinesis.
They're doing a very good amount of damage. I would even go as far as to say, like, the First Blood wasn't a lane winner or loser, but it wasn't great for London Conspiracy. Had that not happened, I would say they are winning the lane, but maybe not by as wide of a margin as they had hoped for. Middle lane is starting to get a little out of hand. No one is pulling away in terms of CS, and it even has a double damage bottle. We also failed to mention the implication of an aggressive tri-lane when the Shadow Fiend is farming, that your supports are not going to be able to roam to kill this SF at all. So he will free farm, like 100%. And because he's not going to have to leave his lane, because he's not a ganking hero, the DK is not going to be able to take down his tower, which likely means what's going to happen is London Conspiracy are going to have to send their DK to top lane to try to apply pressure that way, or they can send Skylark as well for a Surgeon and an Ion Shell, which could potentially kill.
Indeed, I mean, look at Skylark playing very aggressively here behind the tier 1. Really putting pressure onto Mag, and Darkseer starting to break away in terms of...
Oh, this could be a kill top.
Oh, let's have a look. They're going in here with the poison attacks onto Solo. Solo, and he's in a lot of trouble. There's going to be a shallow grave. But the question is, can they die for this, and can they find anything in return here, Vega? Solo, he will tick down. He will fall. 9 Pasha trying to find a return kill onto Spartan here with the right click. Spartan's going to be able to juke it down. He's got a salve as well. Pasha in a bit of trouble now. He'll try and take down the Viper. Seema trying to get himself back in range. He's got a poison touch in a couple of seconds. Gust has flown out again. Now the tower is... Oh, hello, suddenly! Oh, no one. He comes in. He's got a double damage. He's got a double... Oh!
And the Darkseer solo died to Mag bottom. Oh, man, that is absolute disaster for London Conspiracy. That is so bad. That is so unbelievably bad.
Wow. That minute was... That was absolutely heartbreaking there for London
I didn't even know the
Conspiracy.
Shadow Fiend was on the way there. I was like watching the fight to see if Pasha was going to die, and then out of nowhere, double damage SF. And to be honest, I'm surprised that that wasn't reacted to maybe a little bit faster, because they didn't have to sit there and trade with the Jar. They could have just ran away. But again, the vision not being there from London Conspiracy. Giving the Shadow Fiend a triple kill at 6 minutes, that's bad. That's bad news.
And he, you know, he's top of the CS board as well. I mean, this... No one is going to... I mean, yeah, the fact that he had that DD with that rotation and the LC, they just weren't aware at all. I mean, you know, they were right up
I wasn't even aware. I was just like, oh my god, is he actually going to kill the drop too? Because if that happened for London Conspiracy, say no one didn't rotate, then maybe that would have been what they needed to win the lane. They're going to surge forward here on Seema.
Yeah, they've got 4 heroes up here, and they will be able to close the gap in onto Seema. Seema does have a shallow grave available here, and will simply look to TP out. There's nothing to cancel the TP. 4 heroes being committed by London Conspiracy. They don't find the kill onto Dazzle. 9 Pasha.
He doesn't have a teleport, but he has 2 tangos. He can actually eat his way out of here.
He's going to continue to be scouted out by these creeps. There's going to be a tombstone drop. Gust
no, he went the wrong way. He's dead.
He's going to need something. He's going to try and do as much damage as he can to the Viper. There's going to be a roar from Mag onto Skylark. Can they bring down this Darkseer? No, he's still alive. Solo. He's going to have to be careful. Down telekinesis onto Mag. The side of LC trying to see if they can find more now on top of the drought range, but no one again. He has rotated in onto the Shadow Fiend. He hasn't got any mana though, and he'll simply look to TP out of this one. He will get themselves away, and I guess this is one of the issues for the side of LC. They've got the vacuum and the telekinesis, but both the Undying and the Viper are unable to do anything against these retreating heroes, and it is just the drought ranger going down there on the side of Vega.
A little bit clowny of an engagement, I think, from both teams, just rotating at the Shadow Fiend again. They do get the tower, though, and now Kaiser's going to drop his ulti, try to get the tower last hit on middle lane. I think they should be able to deny this. Does he just go back in? No, I think they get to deny. So, Drow not being level 6 yet is soon to be fixed, as he is about 1 or 2 creeps away. And now that he has the Drow Aura, the Shadow Fiend's going to start hitting like an absolute monster. It's 8 minutes in, and the guy hits for 164 damage. That's insane.
And Dean obviously with the buckler going for that mechanism. Once he's got that online with the fact that they've got the Dazzle as well on the team, it's going to be pretty impressive. And I mean, there we go. So the Disruptor, 11 wins, 2 losses. It's definitely one of the favourites for Vega. And interesting note, of course, yeah, indeed, Solo playing it, not Seema the Slayer this game, but
they
still
switch it up a lot.
strong. Yeah.
So, for example, if they had Wisp and Disruptor,
Yes.
it probably would have been Seema on the Disruptor instead, because I think Solo is the Wisp player of the team. But again, a lot of players nowadays are more flexible, so they can do, they can play a lot more heroes, which is definitely great for being able to outdraft your opponent. That way, you don't have to try to think about what your teammates can play instead of what you want to pick. But Vega still looking okay. They have lost 2 tier 1s though prior to 9 minutes, which is definitely good for London Conspiracy. That is the way that you want your lineup to function. You just want to try to hard pressure. But Vega cannot be underestimated in their own pushing potential at this early game phase, with the Drow Ranger now being level 6.
There we go, the TPs are coming in from the side of London Conspiracy. Gust, very nicely done again, catching out the Rubik and the Undying Kinetic Field popped out. And now they're on the wrong side of the Kinetic Field, but they have got the Tombstone down, London Conspiracy, and they're going to be happy continuing to fight into this one. 9 times will have to TP out, so he gets the glimpse onto Rubik and looks at the TP out. Oh, nice little cheeky play there, and will be able to escape from this one. Undying was able to find the onto Drow Ranger. Seema the Slayer tries to TP out, but the Vacuum's going to be there to cancel it. And London Conspiracy getting themselves a couple of very nice kills off the side of Vega there.
I'm a little bit confused as to why Vega keep pushing into, like, they push in, right? And then they see TPs, but the Drow Ranger goes for a TP when there's a Surge and a Darkseer on the other team. Like, that TP was crazy optimistic. Like, maybe he just thought that he couldn't get away, but I don't know. It was a little bit interesting to me that they decided to go for it in that manner. But still, on the Conspiracy showing their lineup, it can actually play outside of the laning phase, the Darkseer being pretty integral in making sure that they can find kills. And he also he has his mech done. Like, he doesn't have boots, but he's got a mech.
Tower is under attack.
Does indeed pretty impressive timing here from the Darkseer Solo. Need to be careful. London Conspiracy, they've still got the 4-man here in the Dire jungle. And the fact that Skylark now has got the wall as well available for the fight, they might look to group up and look for some action and go against the side of Vega. But still worth noting, Mag, of course, 10 minutes in, having a pretty fine old time. Start with Wizardry, has enough money for the recipe for that Necro book as well, so we can still expect to see some very impressive farm coming out from the Beastmaster this game.
The book 3 is so good against London Conspiracy's team. Like, no matter who you roar, they're pretty much dead. And speaking of dead, Solo, middle lane, he is a goner.
Oh, at the same time, Holland, there was a roar, but as you said, yeah, the side of LC, they find themselves a kill. Madara gets low as Vega did look to initiate there with the roar from Mag, and no one will simply TP out. But again, London Conspiracy, you know, they got knocked down pretty hard in the first few minutes of the game, but now really coming back into it, bringing it to a 5-for-5. And things looking alright for the side of the Radiant.
And just imagine if their laning phase had gone a little bit better. Like, if the Shadow Fiend didn't rotate up there and kill their entire tri lane, it would have been a much better situation for them. But it's not too bad. I mean, the Undying has arcane boots. You got some good sustain coming out with the mech now up on the Darkseer. So you can look to push. Your team fight is still very good, which I think Vega are now going to start respecting a little bit more and just opt to go for the split push instead. The problem is, I think Vega actually push faster than London Conspiracy do, so they're going to have to go for fights and defending their own towers.
Here we go, indeed, Vega, Mag, no one is Solo looking to take the tier 1 in the mid lane. Bottom lane, Kaiser going in with the Elder Dragon form onto the tier 2 of the side of Vega. Vega, they're just trying to take a favourable trade here. They might even think about taking the tier 2 on the top lane if they want to keep pushing. It certainly looks like
this is not a good trade, man. They hit so hard. Like, you can't trade against this. You have to fight them.
And the TPs are now coming back. It's going to be Kaiser coming back on the Dragon Knight, but now the TP reaction from Vega. They want to try and catch out someone on the side of London Conspiracy. Can they find Madara here? It doesn't look like no one's going to be able to have the control. Hasn't got anything like a Euro Scepter available from this game. Well, Vega, they do manage to deny the tier 2 here, and hang on. Madara just throwing back a Viper strike to stop no one from chasing him down. But with this tier 1 still standing here on the bottom lane, looks like that's going to be Vega's next point of call.
I do believe that London Conspiracy can fight this. They have an Invis on their Darkseer, and they also have Wall available. But, oh no, the Darkseer doesn't have a TP. Okay, that's bad news, actually. Neither does the Rubik. Alright, so much for defending. Everyone TP'd out. So this tower is dead, 100%. And we were talking about the ineffectiveness of London Conspiracy's pushing potential. It's not that their team doesn't push fast, it's just that you can't outpush Drow Ranger with 4 ranged heroes. Like, that's not going to work. So, instead of maybe going for the push, taking the team fight, I feel is where they are actually stronger at this point. Like, a good vacuum, good wall, Tombstone is dropped, you can probably win that engagement handily. But instead, looks like LC going to continue going for the split push strategy. They do push slower, so I'm not really sure this is the call, but it seems like that's the one they're going to make.
Yeah, indeed, LC, they want to try and take this tier 2, but the trade is going to be there. Vega, they look to push this down. Fortification will come out from the side of London Conspiracy, but the tier 2 will indeed still fall. And it is just going to be that another tier 2 for tier 2 trade between the sides, and LC, they're contemplating whether they want to try and push the high ground to force back the side of Vega. Vega, they've already had Solo TP back into this one. He's dropping down the kinetic field. He's going to need a little bit more help. Bottom lane. Do these guys have a TP? Well, Seaman's going to walk himself to the side shop to pick up a TP. Shadow Fiend, no one. He has the ability to get himself back. Gus comes out to Kaiser. Just getting some damage up onto the high ground onto this tier 3. Vega, and they're all back here now, and London Conspiracy will want to think about, think twice about sticking around here against this lineup.
In the end, they got some tier 3 tower damage. That is a big thing. We always talk about getting tier 3 towers down and how important it can be just for positioning, and obviously getting free chip damage on the range racks can be great too. So maybe London Conspiracy feeling like delaying the game is not the right call here. They want to try to get some more damage out if they can. With the DK having ulti, all he has to do is hit the tower once and run away. And he still does damage. Oh, okay, they just want to go in.
Yeah, straight with the Dragon Tail onto Solar. Mac will throw the ball down straight away and return onto Kaiser. No one, he gets the Requiem of Souls, reducing the amount of damage that London Conspiracy can do in this fight. London Conspiracy, they'll start to try and back off now. Pasha trying to see if you can get any damage into this one. Going to be the cheeky telekinesis there, holding back the Necro units and some of the team members of London Conspiracy are incredibly low. But yeah, it was a bit of a kind of an ambitious initiation there from the Dragon Knight, and just wasn't able to find any kind of positive action off the back of it.
Thankfully, nobody died.
Yes.
I think that could have very easily transitioned into London Conspiracy losing a very bad fight. They were extremely lucky that Solo was not level 6. He was 10 experience away. If he had Static Storm there, that was a dead Dragon Knight. And then there was a glimpse onto another hero, and it could have potentially been just a total nightmare for London Conspiracy to recover from that kind of engagement. But Vega now looking like they want to position themselves for Roshan. London Conspiracy, a little bit in the area, but there is no Elder Dragon form for about 20 seconds. Haste Rune now on the Dragon Knight as well, so if they want to try to go for this, I think contending is almost necessary from London Conspiracy.
Let's see what the side can do here. Vega, they've got a fair bit of punching damage. They're bringing Roshan down to half health. Kaiser going to
Requiem here.
There's going to be a surge onto Sparta, but the Static Storm getting thrown down very nicely. Going to make it very hard for London Conspiracy to try and get themselves in the fight. Kaiser managed to walk the way around, but with the Ice Show as well, they will bring down Solo. Now they're going to look for more. Vega, they're trying to keep themselves out. Nine Pasha will get out. No one at Seema. Seema escapes. No one, he's still stuck in the pit. It looks like they will be able to bring down the Shadow Fiend. It is a 2-for-0 trade. They're favoring the side of London Conspiracy, and it looks like they will be able to get Roshan off the back of this one. So a very nice initiation there from London Conspiracy.
They went in with none of their ultis. Like, the Beastmaster wasn't in the area at all. The Shadow Fiend didn't have Requiem. The Static Storm, I think, was just to try to prevent a Dragon Tail from going off. Had they been able to land a kinetic field, they might have been able to just go for a straight TP, but unfortunately Vega losing a pretty big team fight there, losing the Aegis. This potentially means that London Conspiracy can go high ground. Like, they just need Elder Dragon form, and to hit the tower a few times, and they could just get the racks, I feel, at this point.
Viper picking up a Midas this game, Andy.
Yeah, the Midas is one of those backup plays, I guess, kind of similar to what Skylark did in the first game when he was playing Nyx. Just having an item that keeps you relevant. I think Midas is great on these types of heroes where you know you're not going to get to something else, like perhaps Aghanims. You already have a mech on your team, and Pipe is okay but not amazing. So I think going for Midas just means, hey, if we don't actually end up high grounding here, or even better yet, if we do, and we get racks, then we can play a more passive game and look to try to draw it out, and our Viper will continue to farm well because he has a Midas. So the mentality is always playing, I guess, for the later stage in the game, and having some kind of plan B in case things go too far south. And speaking of, Spartan, oh, he gets gusted out of the kinetic field, but we're anyway.
It's still good. They do get the kill onto him. The Tombstone's being dropped. Will get taken out straight away. Static Storm catching out Skylark, and now that's 2-2-4 and Kaiser. Kaiser's trying to see if they can go back into this one against Vega, but Vega, they will back off, and they will keep themselves safe. Mag now with that level 2 Necro book, just under 1,000 away from finishing up to the level 3. So at this progress, we'll still have it around that 20-minute mark. But I mean, at this point, 17.5 minutes in. If we have a look at the graph, the difference between the teams is almost negligible. It's very, very close between these two sides. And arguably, I feel like this is a much closer game than Game 1 was. And London Conspiracy definitely have the potential to bring this series to a draw.
It is anyone's game, without a doubt, at this particular point. It's only 18 minutes in. London Conspiracy have a 1-kill lead. They got 2 very early towers, which is fantastic for them. Vega now, though, they want to apply some pressure. There is still an Aegis available on London Conspiracy, but I'm not sure if they want to prioritize pushing or fighting. I think pushing when you have the Aegis and the BKB up on your DK is maybe the right call. Even if they get pushed a tiny bit faster, because there's already damage dealt to the tier 3, but instead, they're going to TP home. They're going to look to try to defend. Oh, that's a glimpse back. That's a free tower, I think, after that glimpse.
Indeed, with Kaiser stuck here on the top lane thanks to that glimpse. Vega might, I mean, can they even look to push more than the tier 2 because they have Dragon Knight?
They can go high ground,
Yeah.
because the tier 2 in the top lane is still alive, and the Dragon Knight's not actually there. He has Dragon form, but he's running his way back to base, which means that Vega will see the fact that he's not pushing and probably assume that he's coming back, and yeah, they want to go for kills.
Oh, actually, Solo cancels zone 2P, then gets vacuumed back into this, has dropped down the kinetic field, trying to buy some time for the rest of the team to get away, but Seaman the Slayer, he's stuck around as well. I mean, Solo, he's going to be in a fair bit of trouble. It's only the Dazzle that's going to be able to back him up. There'll be the glimpse. Bringing him back, the Rubik was able to steal, and that's going to allow him to find that kill onto the Disruptor. Now with the Dragon Tail and Seaman the Slayer does get off that Shallow Grave, but without a TP, he's got nowhere to run. He'll look for a cheeky deny from a neutral, but it's not going to happen. That's going to be a killing spree for the Darkseer. And another very kind of tasty pickoffs there for the side of LC, catching off Vega on the back of the retreat.
They do lose the Viper in the process, though. In the top lane, they had 2 teleport up there. I believe it was Mag and the Shadow Fiend, and they managed to kill the Viper while he was still pushing top. So, in the end, it was just a trade. 2 for 1, still ends up favoring London Conspiracy slightly. Losing their core, probably not what they wanted. The bigger thing now is London Conspiracy have a blink at their disposal, so the Darkseer will be able to get his combos off more effectively in these team fights. And if Roshan is going to be one of the primary targets in the next 6-7 minutes, then we could likely be seeing some big plays coming out from him. But other than that, big things to note. Pasha, he's got his BKB now, which is great for him. Means he's not going to have to worry about getting eaten by the Darkseer Ion Shells or stunned up by the DK, or lifted for that matter. And the Shadow Fiend also follows suit with his own BKB.
Okay, mid lane, Kaiser just coming out here with the push. We're seeing London Conspiracy chilling out back here. Skylight munching on the mangoes. They do have smoke available on Rubik. What's the plan here for London Conspiracy? They want to look to try and catch someone out. Kaiser's still very far forward on his own. No one's got himself an Invis rune here. And the smoke's going to be dispelled straight away there. And no one's going to be having a nice little cheeky smirk about that.
That hurts. That's painful. And we always talk about the 20-minute book 3 timing on Mag. And he does not seem to disappoint too often, does he?
Indeed, it's coming out. BKB is going to be popped straight away by 9 Pashas. He gets a little bit spooked by the Surge zombie running at him. And he's going to go back to farming here. He's fairly fine, fairly dandy. And well, the side of London Conspiracy, they themselves might be ready to try and push high ground. They've got the Elder Dragon form, they've got the BKB, and they've got the Aegis on the Dragon Knight. So this is, as any time, is a great time for them to go for it.
This timing is actually very difficult for Vega to deal with, just because, again, the BKB and the Dragon Knight. They do have 2 BKBs themselves, though. Oh, the Rubik stolen glimpse. He sends Pacha back to top lane.
That was big. That's pretty big here, because now London Conspiracy, they're going to be able to take the tier 3. Can they take anything more here? Kaiser's been surged up. The armor is ticking down. He's coming down towards the negatives. Gets the Dragon Tail onto Seaman. He's damage there. The Vega's going to be there. It's going to be fine. He's got the Shallow Grave. Now they're trying to turn this one around. BKB's been popped by no one. They've been able to take 2 heroes down from London Conspiracy. Make that 3 as the Darkseer falls as well. Now Kaiser, he's stuck between Mag, he's stuck between Solo, he's stuck between no one, and no one will find the double kill. They're going to be able to bring down the Rubik as well. So what looked like a very nice position for London Conspiracy to be in after they were able to glimpse back the Drow Ranger. Just went absolutely awfully. No one turns up with his BKB. You know, we've got Mag getting in there, and it's just too much. It's too much, and the fact that they lose all 5 heroes trying to push up onto the racks, that was not the play.
Well, I can understand why they felt confident going into that. You know, you send Pasha top, it's 4v5, you have Aegis. You feel to yourself, we have to be able to win this fight. Like, we actually have to be able to win, or we're never going to be able to go high ground. So going in there was definitely the call, but unfortunately, no one's Requiem hit pretty much everyone. They were dealing very low damage. They all got Weave cast on them on top of that. Yeah.
Did the Aegis just time out in that fight, and Dragon Knight died straight away? I want to say.
I think it might have. I actually wasn't paying that close of attention to the Aegis.
I think it might have.
Yeah, but I don't know if that would have mattered anyway.
Nah,
because the Undying actually just got wrecked immediately. And then the next one to die was actually the Viper. So regardless of whether or not that DK had Aegis, I think he would have just ended up dying 2 times. And that wouldn't have helped London Conspiracy either way. The beginning of the fight just was too bad for them. Like, everyone getting hit by Requiem, there was a Roar, and the Book 3 coming out from Mag did a ton of work during that team fight, and then a 3-man Static Storm. So I think Vega just outplayed them in the base defense.
I mean, we'll have a look, see if the grass kicked into that one. Yeah, it's starting to become apparent now. We've seen it up and down around just a 1k difference between both sides, but now Vega, thanks to that fight, starting to come out with the biggest difference we've seen so far now, heading over the 5,000 difference in terms of both gold and XP. But the side of LC, they've still got a potential to pull something off here. You know, we can see what they can kind of pull out the bag in terms of their own high ground defense. On the side of Vega, Solo picking up the point booster here, looks to go straight for that Aghanims after the Tranquil Zone.
I think it's a really good item against DK and heroes like Viper as well. Just being able to disable item usage is massive. Like, not, for instance, if you're playing against a Disruptor who has Aghanims, you have to almost preemptively BKB, which makes the BKB a worse item because you're just wasting duration to make sure that you don't end up getting caught out. It's the same reason why Hex is so good against BKB, because if you already have a blink, you can just negate the BKB entirely. And Kaiser, he's going to BKB that Glimpse, making him waste a charge. Not too bad of a deal. I mean, that was a 9-second BKB for a Glimpse. So, not the situation that London Conspiracy are looking for. And in addition to that, Mag now having a Blink Dagger means that his map control is going to be even better. He can solo kill almost anyone on the side of London Conspiracy. The DK and the Viper are the two that are the unlikely targets. He might even be able to kill the Viper.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this heavily in the draft of this game and the first game, the fact that if you get Mag as Beastmaster, you can expect a very reliable performance, and that's just been the same here. You know, 24 minutes in, Blink, level 3 Necro, 3 kills, 5 assists, and hasn't died at all this game.
Yeah, this is a rough spot for London Conspiracy. You got to feel for him too, because I think they actually had a decent start considering the circumstances, and they're going to go for a smoke, maybe anticipating Roshan's going to be up soon. It is on the second timer, so he's got around a minute or so left, maybe a minute and 30 seconds before he's alive. And this could be the time. This could be London Conspiracy's time.
Let's see if they can find those wombo combos. There's going to be a surge for it onto S224. He's looking to try and find someone out with this telekinesis. Drow Ranger, though, they can sense something's a bit fishy. Nine Pasha keeping himself out of harm's way towards the upper half of the map. And Seam of the Slayer will go straight back to the base, so they do manage to get the ward out, but that's going to be it with that smoke because they don't catch anyone out on the side of Vega. Roshan still not up for just over a minute here, so they won't be able to even look for that one as well. They're desperately trying to find someone with that ward there. It did indeed catch the fact that Seam of the Slayer is out on his own. But no, London Conspiracy with that smoke, unable to make anything happen with the team.
Now Solo also scouted out the Roshan pit, so Vega know that Roshan's not up yet. It has now hit the minute mark till he's going to respawn. I'm kind of worried. Do London Conspiracy have another smoke? I'm kind of think they don't. So, yeah, they don't.
They don't. No, that was their
so that was their all-in smoke to try to. They were going to go for a smoke to get better positioning around Roshan, and Vega do have a smoke available. So I think that also gives them a little bit more of an edge for the next time a fight breaks out in that area. And there's still no real big items picked up by Madara either. It's kind of like he bought his Midas, and I understand the reasoning behind getting the item just to keep yourself relevant, but he's got a Yasha and an Ogre Club. I mean, he kind of needs BKB, I guess, at this point. Otherwise, if they put the book on him, he gets mana drained immediately. If he gets roared, yeah, you can't really stop roar with the BKB, but you might actually be able to live through the roar instead. But up until this point, he has just not really been able to contribute that much. I mean, he's got 116 CS, which, like, he was in an aggressive tri-lane that wanted to shut down the farm, and he's dead. Oh, no, the surge in the mech, okay.
Oh, maybe they can turn this one around, indeed. They've got the slows onto Mag, but it doesn't matter. Mag's in the sound. They try to let the GP out, and he will indeed get away. I mean, yeah, as you said, it didn't look too great for Madara, but the fact that Scarlet was there with the mech, able to keep him topped up. But I mean, yeah, we just saw there the solo killing potential of this Mag Beastmaster with the level 3 Necros. It is pretty damn scary, and if anything, that does push by the space and time for Vega to take Roshan themselves and now get the Aegis onto no one.
Not only Aegis, but Butterfly completed as well. He hits for 300 damage, exactly. At 29 minutes in, confirmed, gaining 10 damage a minute. Well played. But, or excuse me, not 10 damage a minute. That would be a lot more. But I still don't know about this game because London Conspiracy had the opportunity to be able to do some real work with their mid game.
Yeah.
And then that one fight where they go mid is just like, it feels very similar to the first draft, right? You get that one team fight where you're just like, oh, we're so close to being able to take this game. We want to go high ground. We have Aegis. We glimpse the Drow back, and then we just get crushed. And then all of a sudden our team just doesn't quite have the same feeling of strength as it did maybe 5-10 minutes ago. Same thing happened to them in game 1 with their Chen lineup. They take one fight around Roshan where they didn't know Solo had Blink. They lose that fight, and then the game becomes ridiculously hard to win. It's definitely not the fault of the draft, but it is the way that the draft is played, if that makes sense. Because you're putting yourself in a spot where you essentially need to be able to go high ground by this point, and if you can't, your heroes just simply don't scale as well.
I mean, at the moment, London Conspiracy just playing very, very safely, keeping themselves in the base and kind of waiting for the side of Vega to come to them. But that's going to give Vega a lot of space here across the map to continue to find the amount of fun that they've been finding so far. I mean, the fact that, yeah, the Shadow Fiend, 15,500 net worth compared to the 11,000 of DK, certainly breaking away. And of course, worth noting the 9 Pasha on his Drow Ranger is looking pretty rich also. 2k coming up on top of the Mask of Manish Yasha BKB. And as we saw there, though, Dragon Knight Kaiser has picked himself up a Shadow Blade this game, so opting for that one. And, I mean, maybe that's what's going to be needed to find some sneaky Dragon Tail initiations.
It's a nice initiation item, as you mentioned. Just being able to get Surge in with an Ion Shell. That can be... It can be a kill, actually. Just because Dragon Tail is a very long single target stun. 3.25 seconds for a non-ulti stun is great. But I'm not sure if they're really going to find too many openings. The biggest problem they're going to have is as soon as that Shadow Blade is scouted, they already have Necrobook 3, and they're just going to carry sentries, and even like anticipating that they want map control, they buy a gem from solo, and they're probably going to put it on somebody who's tanky enough to be able to carry it at any point, which will likely be Mag, because he also has Blink Dagger and Boar, and he can D-ward more or less everywhere. London Conspiracy, their game plan is like maybe turtle out until the next Roshan is up. At the very least, you don't want to fight until that 8 is
This could be good. They caught 9 Pasha out here with a Shadow Blade onto Kaiser, and this should be a kill. Oh, BKB and TP out. No, it's not going to be enough.
What was he doing there on his own?
He was going for it, Andy. I guess he obviously didn't expect the fact that there was that Shadow Blade on Kaiser, but still, it was a little bit out alone there. A little bit far out the lane.
I'm not sure if he thought he had backup or what, but no one from the area, or no one in the area, was going to be able to do anything for him anyway, because that was like a 4 or 5 man rotation, more or less. They definitely wanted him dead. But, oh, Skylark top lane.
Yes, indeed, Mag trying to go for a solo
Look
kill
at the
here.
damage! Like, no other offlane hero can do what he just did.
Oh, London Conspiracy might be losing more here. Maybe they can try and find a kill in return. No one is forced to pop the BKB. Will be able to take down the Tombstone. Now trying to turn his attention towards Madara. Madara will just fly himself away on the Viper. Now Spartan, the armor's ticking down. Record of Souls has come out from no one. And it's been stolen by the Rubik. He's going to use it back in return. Does bring no one down. But Batum by a huge chunk of health. In fact, about half his health going down there to the Requiem that was stolen by Rubik. No one's still alive thanks to the Shallow Grave. It looks like he might go down here. No, the evasion is helping out there. He will go down, but he's got the Aegis. He is ready for round 2. The side of Vega, they've already lost the Disruptor and the
Base
Drow
in trouble.
Are under attack.
And oh, indeed, Mag trying to go for a bit of a sneaky push here on the top lane, getting the damage done. Will now TP himself out towards the bottom lane, and yeah, this is the problem, you know, for the side of the Conspiracy. They can look to commit to these fights, but Mag, he's always going to be there on the sidelines, chipping away at your reps.
That was the best of a bad situation from Vega. I mean, to be honest, the Rubik made a really good play there.
Yeah.
Like, stealing the Requiem and being able to take no one's Aegis pretty much just based on that was huge. But I think they ended up buying back on the Darkseer and then not really able to do anything with that buyback. That's kind of painful. They're still, at the end of the day, getting out-farmed pretty much everywhere on the map. And as time goes on, it's going to be more and more difficult to try to do anything. And Mag scouting out that Shadow Blade with his Hawk here in bottom lane, so he's not going to get caught out. And even still, he has a gem, so the closer he gets, the harder it's going to be. I think they're actually baiting it. He went for a vacuum, but he's not in the area. He has Roar up. Book is now up as well. Does he go in here for Kaiser?
I think with 9 Passion solo backing him up, yeah, there's going to be the glimpse here onto Skylark. They want to take him down first. Everything being thrown down onto the Darkseer.
Yeah.
He's very much dead. And that, of course, as you were saying, is going to be a dieback. That should Darkseer now down for 60 seconds.
Top lane.
This is the window to start pushing, and indeed top lane as well. No one has seen where they've been able to take down S224 on the Rubik. Madara popping the BKB, trying to juke this one out, but oh! Hello, the punches there with the reduced armor on the Viper.
He just hit him for 500 damage.
This is suddenly looking like LC might be falling apart here. Everybody's down. They've only got Viper available on the DK and the Viper. Viper will pop it here, but it's just the two of them up against the full 5-man of Vega. Vega, they've already been able to take down the bottom racks. The top rack's exposed. No one's going to start punching away. This is almost going to be 2 sets of racks here down against the side of the Conspiracy. It may even be free as well as Vega. They're ready to try and clean up the base, and this could be London Conspiracy on the verge of the end of their TI journey here as Vega very close. Here we go. Kaiser coming in, but it's just going to take take a Requiem Souls here to the face. Dragon Knight will go down. That was a dieback from Kaiser. He will fall. The stolen Requiem comes out, but GG well played is called. Ladies and gentlemen, Vega will be progressing to the bracket stage of the TI5 EU qualifiers, and London Conspiracy, they've hit the end of their journey here. They will be going home, but I've got to say, LC, they've done very well to get this far, and very well to take 2 games against Na'Vi, and of course get a lot of draws against the rest of the teams in this group.
It was impressive to say the least that London Conspiracy managed to get to this point. You already mentioned it. Vega, though, I mean, just from watching the series alone, I think that their drafts are a large reason why they're able to win these games. London Conspiracy, 2 games in a row, they draft a team that kind of needs to be successful at a given point in the game, and if you don't get to that point, you are already in a bad position. And I